Hi, I'm Charles Linden. I'm developer of Linden Recovery. I'm going to cure your anxiety disorder, and I'm going to explain to you now how I know that's going to happen. Well, first of all, we've done it tens of thousands of times and we've never seen it fail. Can it fail? No, it can't fail, because that's just the way the body works. That's human science, human biology. Do people fail? Yes, they do. And you may find examples of these on the internet, but they represent 0.01% of the people we've actually helped, some 200,000 people or more. But why do they fail? Well, they fail because they don't do what is required to feed back the correct data to the subconscious to switch off the emotion of fear. And that's all you have to do to recover from an anxiety disorder. I did it 15 years ago, and my clients do it, and it's so simple. We have 7-year-olds doing it. Let me explain how this works. If I walk up to you and pinch you, what happens is that your senses detect the pinch and feed back sensory data into your neural pathways and into your brain, and your brain registers the pain. It may then respond with emotion, and you might cry. It might activate the flight or fight response, and you feel fear. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that just by pinching you, I'm able to affect the chemistry and the electrical signals in your brain and produce emotion, just by touching you externally. But what's this got to do with your anxiety disorder? It's got absolutely everything to do with your anxiety disorder, because your anxiety disorder is created by fear catalysts, the same as the pinch, or the man with the gun, or the tiger attacking you, or the bear in the woods. Exactly the same catalyst causes your anxiety disorder. And I'll tell you how this works. Think about it logically. You developed a high anxiety condition, and that's because you have creative intellect. But I can go into that more in the programme when you decide to join and overcome your anxiety. It's not important at this point, but you have got creative intellect, and that creative intellect is what powers all of those what-if thoughts that you're experiencing. And they're risk assessments. They're the emotion of fear producing risk assessments saying, what if? What if I collapse? What if I pass out? What if I die? What if I drive far from my home? What if I have a panic attack? What if I develop a mental illness? All of these what-if thoughts are driven by your creative intellect. But let's park that for a second. The reason that you have an anxiety disorder isn't because somebody's pinching you, but emotionally something is pinching you. Because every time you go into an anxiety response, you produce what is perceived as symptoms. They're not actually symptoms, because symptoms are the sign of illness, true illness, real illness. And you're not ill. You're not mentally or physically ill. You have too much of the emotion of fear because you have creative intellect. And what's happening is you're creating fear, the emotion of fear, as flight or fight, and your body is producing symptoms, the churning stomach, the racing heart, the shaking, the sweating, and all of these things that you associate with fear and anxiety. And your subconscious is saying, what's going on in the outside world? Where is the fear catalyst? Where's the bear? Where's the tiger? And it's looking, using your senses, it's looking and not finding them. So then it internalizes and it looks at your internal systems and it says, can I find something here that could be threatening? And it finds your churning stomach or your racing heart or your trembling or your dizziness or your tinnitus or your blurred vision or your dry mouth. And it says, what's this? This isn't normal. This isn't what I'd normally experience when I'm in equilibrium, when I'm non-anxious. And it says, this must be something frightening. And as soon as it detects that fear catalyst, it does what? It activates more anxiety. Because the way you fight something that is anxiety-provoking is by producing the flight or fight response and fleeing or fighting whatever it is, the bear or the tiger. Now, there is no bear or tiger. There's a churning stomach. There's a racing heart. But your brain perceives it to be a risk, so it responds with anxiety. Anxiety then produces more symptoms. Those symptoms produce more risk. And there's an internal dialogue going on between your body and your mind saying, what have I found? It's obviously something frightening. I respond with anxiety. The anxiety causes symptoms. The symptoms cause anxiety, and so on. And because the emotions are autonomic, just like your respiration, your circulation, and your digestion, you have no conscious control over it at all. Absolutely none. There's nothing you can do about it consciously, because just like your respiration and circulation and digestion, they happen whether you're awake or asleep, and regardless of what you tell your heart, your lungs, or your stomach to do. You can't slow down your breathing. You can't slow down your heart rate. Not consciously, not without working at it for a very long time. You can do it, but it takes a lot of conditioning. Now this is what I'm saying to you. We can show you very quickly how you can send data back through to your subconscious, the part that controls your anxiety levels and your fear, that switches off the anxiety fast, because it should switch off fast. In real life, when the threat has gone after 5 or 6 minutes, your anxiety levels should drop down back to normal. You know that. It's happened many times in the past. It happens to every human on this planet. But with you, it hasn't happened because your senses detect those internal things like the churning stomach and perceive those as risk. So it's just this constant cycle of risk assessments, finding things that cause anxiety, that cause more symptoms, that cause anxiety. And just like your circulation, there's nothing you can do to stop it, which is why medication doesn't work, it's why counselling doesn't work, it's why hypnotherapy doesn't work, it's why all the things that you've tried haven't worked, because they don't get deep enough. They don't send the right signals to the right place in your brain to turn your anxiety off. And for 15 years, myself and my team of psychologists and counsellors and doctors, we work to help tens of thousands of people to become completely anxiety-free by showing them exactly what I did 15 years ago, to turn off the anxiety response. And that's what we do. Can it fail? Like I said earlier, no. Can you fail? Yes. The only way you can fail is by getting away from this video and walking away from this only anxiety recovery mechanism. You will be anxiety free. Don't listen to people who tell you that it's incurable, that you've got to learn to manage your anxiety, that coping strategies are the only things you can hope for. It's absolute garbage. You can become anxiety free because anxiety is an emotion and it's not an illness. Okay? And anxiety and depression aren't the same thing. Anxiety and depression are like happiness and sadness. They can't coexist in your brain simultaneously. If you've got an anxiety disorder and you experience panic attacks, agoraphobia, OCD, and all of those symptoms, you can't also be depressed. So put your mind at rest and move forward with recovery. And we will help you. My team will support you through, reassure you through, and give you structure that will very quickly indeed stop your anxiety disorder in its tracks and reverse all of that anxiety and make you better than you've ever been before. I never dreamt in my 27 years of my early life that I would be anxiety free. I didn't know what it meant to be anxiety free. I lived with it every day. And when I became anxiety free, all of those resources, about 80% of my intellectual and my physical resources, were diverted back to being great, to doing great things. And that's why I do what I do now. And so what I want you to do is think long and hard about what you want to do today. I stopped my panic attacks in 1 day. I stopped my agoraphobia in 5 days. And I provide all of these tools that will show you how to send those messages back to your subconscious to switch off your anxiety permanently. And I'm very, very emotional and driven about this because I know I can cure anxiety disorders, and I have never personally failed to do so. In the 3,000 to 5,000 people that I've personally helped over the last 15 years, I have never failed to cure an anxiety disorder because I just tell people what to do to switch off anxiety at its source, deep in the subconscious mind. It's so, so simple. And it's so easy to do that kids do it. We have people in their 80s and even their 90s doing it. And it works very quickly and very efficiently, and it is the only solution. Okay? There is no quick fix. This may take a few days, but that's all it will take, because that's just the way your body works. So I hope that you've gained reassurance and knowledge, and that you understand now what it is you're experiencing. And I hope that you now move forward with your recovery. We're there to help you. And we're the only organisation in the world that offers this solution in this structure. We're the only people that offer this free support until you're cured. Move forward with your life and become as the best you can possibly be, because it's only a matter of time now before you're completely anxiety free. Take care.